It's midday right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you from our global headquarters. I'm Jeffrey Ozama. Let's bring you up to speed with the big happenings in politics and in the polity at midday. Nigeria marks 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. Vice President Kashim Shettima representing President Tinubu, National Assembly leadership, ministers and service chiefs honor fallen soldiers at the ceremony in Abuja. Federal High Court Abuja fixes January 23rd to hear the Turaki-led PDP motion for stay in the UK-led PDP suit. Thanks again for joining us on the program. We're not going to start it with politics, but we want to take our time to remember our fallen heroes. Today is the Armed Forces Remembrance and Celebration Day, an annual event to commemorate the nation's servicemen and fallen heroes. The event, which is a celebration on January the 15th each year, also honors veterans of World War I and II, as well as the Nigerian Civil War. It is a day set aside for sober reflection on the significance of the armed forces to the nation. Amid the celebration in Abuja, the Vice President Kashim Shettima led a wreath-laying event and reviewed a presidential parade at the National Arcade in Abuja. He was joined by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Benjamin Kalu, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekereekun, and the service chiefs, as well as the Minister of Defense, among other dignitaries. And now to politics, where two more lawmakers in the Rivers State House of Assembly have appealed to their colleagues to suspend the ongoing impeachment process against the governor of the state, Siminalayi Fubara, and his deputy, Ngozi Odu. The lawmakers, Barile Nwako, who is also the deputy minority leader and represents Kana Constituency 1, and Emilia Amadi of Obiakpo Constituency 2, made the appeal during a press conference in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, while appealing to their colleagues to reconsider their stance on the impeachment process. The lawmakers said there is the need for Governor Fubara to do the needful by honoring the terms of the agreement brokered by President Bola Tinubu in Abuja.
We agreed to jointly address the press today as a way of speaking to our constituents and indeed the good people of Rivers State on the current matter of the impeachment process against the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, GSSROS, and the Deputy Governor, Professor Ngozi Odu, DSSROS. For the avoidance of doubt, we speak for ourselves and not for the House, as we do not have the leave to speak for the Rivers State House of Assembly at this junction.
I align myself with all that my colleague, Honorable Barile Nwako, the Deputy Minority Leader of the 10th Assembly, it will interest you to know that I represent the FCT Minister, His Excellency, Chief Barrister Ezenwonye Sonwike. He is my constituent. And I want to let you know that before coming for this press briefing, that I informed him. I told him of it. But he said to me that I should do whatever my conscience tells me to do.
Let's talk about what's playing out in the court, where Justice Joyce Abdulmalik of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has fixed January 23rd for the hearing of the application for stay of further proceedings filed by Kaburu Turaki-led People's Democratic Party against a suit instituted by a faction of the party in the camp of the FCT minister. Justice Abdul Malik adjourned the matter to allow counsel for the plaintiffs, Onyechi Ikpeazu, respond to the motion for stay. The Wiki-led PDP and its acting national chairman, Mohammed Abdulrahman, alongside Samuel Ayanwu, the group's national secretary, have filed a suit. The plaintiffs in the suit had sought an order of injunction restraining the Turaki-led leadership from parading themselves as representatives of the party in any capacity. They also prayed the court to stop the police and Department of State Services from allowing the Turaki-led leadership access to the party's national secretariat at the Wadada Plaza in Abuja, amongst other prayers. Justice Abdul Malik had earlier granted an ex parte motion brought by the plaintiff directing parties not to take any action pending the hearing and determination of the suit. Well, interesting days ahead for the People's Democratic Party and all that. But before we get to the very conversation, so yet again, we started off with that Armed Forces, now it's called the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day, rechristened by this administration to take time to salute the efforts and the sacrifice of the members of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. So we thank you, every member of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, for your service. We appreciate what you do by putting your life ahead of others, your life on the line, so that we can sleep well at night and be safe. But today, let's talk politics. And we started off this conversation yesterday. Abia has been in the news for a while now, and the politics has actually started where some former governors of the state are now raising questions about the leadership of Alex Otti. In fact, led by, I call him, he's at the vanguard, if you will, of that, which is Senator Otti Uzokalo, the former governor who led the state in 1999 to 2007. We have in that mix as well Theodore Oji and several other governors, who came together, some members of the APC, and are questioning, including Ben Kalu, who is the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. They want to take over the state for the APC, but that has generated a lot of conversation. But let me bring in my guest, where we're going to talk more about this. Is my guest joining us from our Abuja studio. Mr. John Kalu is the former Commissioner for Information under Okezie Ikpeazu. Mr. Kalu, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, Geoffrey.
You know, the waters have been stirred as far as this is concerned. When it comes to the politics of Abia State, it used to be a lot of people were praising Dr. Alex Otti for some of the things he's done since he became governor. In fact, it almost looks like every other governor did not do that much, but he's been able to achieve this in 2.5 years plus. So the question is, that is being raised now by your group or other governors now who are saying it's not exactly the picture. Walk us through what this characterization is really all about. Is this just about politics, or indeed you have a point from your end?
I don't know what you mean by I speak as John Oki, who is a member of the People's Democratic Party in Abia State. Whatever you hear from me is my personal opinion regarding the current political situation in Abia State. It doesn't represent the views of any group. I'm not a member of the APC. I do not intend to join the APC. So I speak as John Oki Kalu, who is a member of the People's Democratic Party. Now, I like your intro as regards Governor Alex Otti, because his situation is a case study for some of us who have been around politics. The majority, it is like mass hypnotism. And let me explain that clearly. Each time you have guests from the government of Abia State, you see them making incomplete statements. I found it funny yesterday that a spokesman to the governor of Abia State could not identify a single smart school project done. Meanwhile, in 2024, the governor collected 54 billion naira from the state government's account to build 51 smart schools. He has gone ahead to collect other money related to that. And as of today, a major shift has happened in Nigeria. That people billion naira for smart schools. Yet the spokesman to the governor could not identify a single one. Now, that is the kind of mass hypnotism that is going on. I heard him yesterday say their basic achievement is payment of salary. Now, why should we be talking about that in 2026? Really, it's astonishing to me because, number one, all 5 Southeast governors have salary, pension, and gratuity allowances they inherited as at the time they came on board with Dr. Otti. He wasn't the only one that had arrears. He was the one that...
Mr. Carl, if you can hear me, just a moment. Mr. Carl, if you can hear me, just a moment. I need to do this quickly, and I'll continue with you as you don't lose your line of thought. As we go on only on our GSTV platform, we'll cross over to Katsina State for the launching of the payment of gratuity and death gratuity to retired and deceased employees of the state and local government. Is going to be performed by the governor of the state, Malam Diko Umarada, and that will be only on our GSTV platform, but on other platforms, Lunchtime Politics continues. Mr. Carlo, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Carlo?
Yes, I can.
Yes, please go ahead with your thought. My apologies. We need to do that quickly.
Yes. It's okay. It's okay. And it's also gratifying that we are talking about the launch of gratuity payments. Let me make certain statements for the whole world to verify. 33 state governments collected salary bailout between 2015 and 2023 during the Buhari administration. What that says to me is that states across board had challenges with salary payment, pension payment, gratuity payments, including the 5 Southeast states. Now, what has happened today? In Imo State, Governor Uzodimma has cleared all the gratuities, cleared all the pension arrears, and has continued to pay salary. Same has happened in Enugu State, same has happened in Ebonyi, and of course in Anambra State. But sat probably somewhere in Omoy and told you we cleared pension arrears. That's falsehood. People shouldn't be, leading us that way. Number one, Governor Otti owed pensioners 9 months in arrears. Cleared the 9 months in arrears in March 2024. And when he cleared the 9 months arrears, he now said pensioners have forfeited all their historic gratuity and pensions. Is that what it means to clear pension arrears? As of today, pensioners are demonstrating in Abia State that they cannot forfeit earned pensions and earned gratuities. Yet, he had the comfort to say they have cleared. The same way he had the comfort to say that if you go to Abia Poly, they have cleared arrears and all that. Yes, I am aware that they are paying bits of fees, but clearing is a different thing. So what we have, to answer your question, is the best example of how a governor can forgo substantive governance and deploy media propaganda to create image that does not exist. Governor Otti will tell you that, okay, the over 1.2 trillion he spent, that inflation happened to it. Fine. Inflation is not happening in Enugu State. In Enugu State, as of today, we have at least 260 smart schools constructed by the governor and the government of Enugu State. And indeed, when that government awarded the contracts in 2024, as at that time, Governor Otti already had our 54 billion naira for 51 smart schools. As at today, we cannot identify even one. His spokesman cannot identify even one. Yet we want to believe that he is a top performer. We look across, we look at Enugu State. They told you last night, yesterday during the interview, someone said in the morning that they have done Abia Industrial Park. My brother, if you go to the location of the so-called Industrial Park, it's jungle. Nothing is happening there. When they came on air to hoodwink the world that they were responsible for the coming on stream of Aba Independent Power Project done by Geometrics Power, we said Governor Otti verifiably as governor of Abia State, contributed nothing to geometrics. Geometrics started under the Ojo's administration, progressed by the TA Ojo administration, decisively brought to life by the Ikpeazu administration. It was under the Ikpeazu administration that Professor Batenaji and other promoters of geometrics, including late Chief Pascal Dozier, went to Egypt, China, and ultimately South Africa in search of supporting funds for the takeoff of geometrics. It was Afrexim Bank that gave $60 million to geometrics for them to take off under the watch of Governor Kezi Ikpeazu. The same Governor Kezi Ikpeazu paid $3.55 million to geometrics as shares for Ndabia. Yet, everyone believes that it is Governor Otti that did that. Let me conclude. Today, if you go to social media, you will see everyone posting pictures of the remodeled airline in Ariaria. And they all believe Dr. Otti did it. Geoffrey, the man sitting down here that you are interviewing, started that project from demolition up to the installation of the lifts.
All right, Mr. Kalu, because of time, if you can hear me, Mr. Kalu, so that we'll build the case within the short time we have. So let's start with schools. I'm going to talk about 3 things. You mentioned some in passing. I'm going to talk about 4 things: schools, waste management, electricity, and road. Those are the things I'll focus on in terms of your counter-argument. But I think it's not debatable that Aba was literally an eyesore, and from the conversations we've had and things we've seen, it's giving that place a facelift. Some of us used to drive through Aba. It was a very terrible place to drive through. The dirtiness of that place was nothing to write home about. But it's being credited for that. Now, for yesterday, I did ask Mr. Ekoma about this issue around smart schools. He said that the 82 billion being bandied around is not correct, although he didn't give me the exact figure. And I asked him how many smart schools. He said it's about 7 he's aware of. So I don't know how many. So from the record you're quoting, from the expenditure they made is rehabilitation, repairs of public schools, 54 billion naira, ongoing rehabilitation, and upgrading of 51 public schools across the state, not smart schools. So I wanted to put that record straight. So I would like you to respond to that. 1. Second is the issue of waste management. Do you admit that under the leadership of Okezi Ikpeazu, Aba was nothing to write home about in terms of waste management, dirty road and all of that, but this man has given it a facelift? Or you have a counter-argument. Then the issue of electricity. I know you were saying something, but I think I missed a few things. He's been credited for the electricity project, but I did ask a question because I'm aware that started under Okezi Ikpeazu. So you walk us back on how that got here. So let me give you the opportunity. Schools, waste management, and electricity.
Number 1, when Abians raised issues with spending 54 billion naira for 51 schools renovation, it was the same Governor Otti that opened his own mouth and that of his spokesman to tell us that they are smart schools, that's what he's talking about. Now, those renovations are distinct from what Asubeb is doing. Asubeb is carrying on a different kind of renovation of schools. And for that, we have about 14 billion allocated to it. If you tally up all the money associated with the same headline, subhead that you've read out, you will see a total of 82 billion naira of Abia people's money spent without a single smart school located anywhere. I thought a spokesman to the government would have been able to say, go to Aba, go to Umuahia, go to so and so place, you will find this.
No, without speaking for them, Mr. Kalu, he said it's ongoing. Those are his words. So I needed to point that. He said they are ongoing.
Wonderful. So... Wonderful. Ongoing, fine. Now, when the governor of Enugu State, because I like to review Governor Otti with his peers, because they are buying from the same market, inflation is happening to all of them, And according to Governor Otti, Abia is richer than Enugu. Abia makes more revenue than Enugu. That's what he said in 2019. So now, taking it from that prism, when Governor Mba awarded contracts for about 200 smart schools, one of the contractors did not deliver on time. What did the governor do? He reported the man to EFCC. Why? Because he didn't take kickback from the man. Now, Governor Otti collected our money before Governor Mba. Now, Governor Mba has effectively delivered 260 smart schools. And you are mentioning ongoing. Ongoing what? The last time we asked them about the smart schools, they produced a picture of an Asubeb school built by Senator T.A.O.G's administration and told us that that was the smart school. And we screamed. It was the same man that spoke to you. It was the same person that delivered the picture. And I am sure that if you forward what I gave to you to your producers, they will see his name, they will see the post he made saying that this is one of Abia State smart schools. So they can deny as much as they like. You mentioned traveling through Aba. Let me be clear on something. Yes, sanitation has improved in Aba, and I give kudos to the local governments because sanitation falls within the assignment of local governments, strictly speaking. And since the coming of President Tinubu, local governments have been getting a lot of money. So you should expect that maybe those 3 local governments in Aba...
Mr. Carlo, just hold on. Are you trying to deny that the governor did not play a role in giving that place a facelift? Is it something difficult for you to do? Where he's right, give him his credit. Where he's wrong, you criticize it.
If you want me to give him credit, what you are saying is that I should publicly admit that my governor has taken over local government funds. According to the schedule of duties, sanitation falls completely within the realm of local government. So if you want to give him credit, please be my guest.
So
I don't mind.
Let's poke it even further because we have to be fair to everyone, including, that's why we're going to electricity. That means that both Okezie Ekpeazu and his local government chairman failed in keeping Aba clean. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that there has been improvement. Improvement does not mean that nothing was happening. It means that there is higher level of success. It doesn't mean that things were left like that. Look, let me be clear. Anyone who understands where Abia was in 2015, particularly Aba, when Okezie Ekpeazu became governor, will tell you point blank that literally 90% of every good road you see in Aba was constructed by Governor Okezie Ekpeazu, starting from the flyover at Osioma through Fox Road, Ngwa Road, Osusu, Ezuku, and so on and so forth. Now, improvement in sanitation, yes. Substantive improvement in road, that is to be debated. Governor Otti is flashing Port Harcourt Road as a legacy project. And of course, I don't believe that road projects are legacies. There are legacies in government. Because however well you construct a road, there will be ongoing rehabilitation by subsequent administrations to maintain it. But I ask this question. You collected 36.5 billion naira of Abia people's money, and you used it to construct 5-kilometer road. And your peer in Rivers State collected 30 billion naira, used it to fix 19.7 kilometers of swampy Calabari Road. And you want me to clap for you. Meanwhile, your peer in Rivers State actually included 4 bridges. You don't have any bridge.
All right, Mr.
You have
Carlo,
made a road that has already been stabilized.
Let's begin to custom because it's going to be, I'm happy the elections are coming. So we're going to have opportunity to interrogate these things a lot more than these short times we have. So what is the grouse? So what is the group led by Oji Zokali, Theodore, Okezie Ekpeazu, and the rest of them? Are they saying that the man doesn't deserve a second term because it feels like the people of Aba or Abia State are happy with him? Are they saying he's embezzling funds or is just leading a propaganda? What exactly is the group saying? If we can close with that.
The same way you saw the communique from that group was how I saw it. I'm not a member of that group. Like I said, I'm not a member of APC, and I didn't work in either Ojus Okalo or TOG's administration. And I am aware that Governor Okezi Ikpeazu was not at that meeting. The former Governor Okezi Ikpeazu was not also there. And I am also aware that most of those there were APC members. But beyond that, what exactly are they saying? They are saying that the Constitution of Nigeria recognizes where the capital of every state is. That is why when my child will be singing 36 State of Federation, Abia, the child will say Umuahia. And they are saying that a governor does not have the right to move the capital city, the seat of government, to his village in Isialangwa, and that they want to litigate it. Of course, there are very many good points why that should not happen. And I sympathize with Governor Otti because he probably does not know the consequence of what he has done. If there is a new government today, that government will be right to seal that his private house and say that it was maintained with government fund, that that house has government documents that people are not able to access, and that that house should belong to government. I'm sure that's not his intention. The other thing they are saying is, Mr. Governor, the work you have done is not commensurate with the amount of money that you have received. They are saying that if you have managed over 1.2 trillion, that we should be seeing the kind of development we are seeing in Enugu State, in Imo State, that his counterpart in Enugu State is already putting aside 10 billion naira as counterpart funding for a rail service from Enugu all the way to the port. And that the governor is overstating his achievements. And of course, critically, they are saying that the governor has failed to be transparent and accountable to the people of Abia State.
Okay.
Geoffrey, I was the one that revealed that the governor was using 30 billion naira to do Port Harcourt Road. When the governor sent the people, the same spokesman and others, to the television station, do you know what they said? Do you know what they said? You need to hear this. They said the contract was awarded at 32 billion naira, and the contractor, Julius Berger, gave us discount. I know the procurement law of Abia State will not permit that. But to assault to injury, the same station asked Governor Otti, how much did you use to do this road? He said it's at 6.5 billion. Now, we are
Mr. Kalu,
the governor should
we're totally out of
us.
time. We're totally out of time, but you've raised a very valid point. That's why I said the conversation just got started. The issue around, if you can answer in 30 seconds, why is it still in Isialangwa? Why is it not in government? Is there a construction going on there? Is there a valid reason that you've heard? No
construction. In fact, the most shocking part of it to me was that when he came, he said he needed 1 billion naira before moving into the new government house. Fine. He has had 1.2 trillion in almost 3 years. And what he has done is to come to Abuja, spend billions at the governor's lodge along T.Y. Danjuma, and still fail to spend on either the new government house or the old government house so that he can move in.
All right, Mr. Kalu, thank you so much. Totally out of time, sir. I said 30 seconds. So you trust that we're going to invite you and every other person for this conversation. It's about public interest. It's about governance in the public space. So everyone, both pro and anti, are stakeholders in the Abia Commonwealth. Mr. John Kalu is a former commissioner for information under the administration of Okezi Ikpeazu, the immediate past governor of Abia State. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And that's it on the program. Thank you for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.